We are continuing to have trouble with subtraction with regrouping. So these problems that we're going to work right now are going to be problems, and all we're going to, these are subtraction of no more than 3-digit numbers. So let's start with that very first one, 820. You can see it on the screen there, 824 minus 377. I hope you have a sheet of paper with you ready to write. The number on the top is what you have. The number on the bottom is what you want to give away. So the question is, if you have 4, hold up 4 fingers, can you drop 7? I hope that you said no. So I asked them, what do you have to do? You should then say regroup. Unless you're comfortable saying borrow. They mean the same thing, so I'm going to say both. That means you have to come to the 2. The 2 becomes a 1. The 4 becomes 14. Now you have 14 minus 7. If you have 14, can you take away 7? The answer to that is yes. Find the answer. I'm not going to give a tremendous time to find the answer. 14 minus 7 is 7. Now hold up 1 finger, because that's what you have. Can you give away 7? So 1 minus 7. Can you do that? Hopefully you said no, which then means you have to regroup, which then means you come over to the 8. When you come to the 8 goes down, becomes a 7. The 1, you come back over to the 1, and it becomes 11. Now you have 11 minus 7. And so 11 minus 7 is 10, 9, 8, 7. 11 minus 7 is 4. Now, if you have 7, hold up 7 fingers. Can you take away 3? 7 minus 3. The answer to that is yes. If you hold up 7 and take away 3, that's going to be 6, 5, 4. 7 minus 3 is 4. That should be your answer for that one. I'm moving on to the next one. We have 621 minus 483. And if you look, when I write these problems, guys, I'm not going to write them all over the page in some sort of chaos. I'm going to try to be in some kind of order as I do them. At the top, if you have 1, can you give away 3? So hold up 1 finger. Can you give away 3? The answer to that should be no. Not should be no, it is no. I hope that's what you said. So you need to regroup or borrow. The 8 becomes a 7. The 1 becomes 11. I'm not going very slowly. I need you to be trying to write with me, but if you're not going to be able to keep up with my writing, I need you to be listening to me because you need to get this. 11 minus 3. You do have enough. 11 minus 3 is 10, 9, 8. 11 minus 3 is 8. Now hold up 7 fingers because the question, you have 7 and you want to give away 8. If you have 7, can you take away 8? The answer to that is no. So you come to the 6 and regroup. The 6 becomes a 5. Then the 7 becomes the 17. 17 minus 8. 17 minus 8 is 9. And if you wanted to see it happen, it would be 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. Now, 5 minus 4. If you have 5, can you take away 4? The answer to that is yes. 5 minus 4 is 1. 5 minus 4 is not 1. 5 minus 4 is 1. Looks like I may have very well written the wrong problem because I don't see our answer choice over here. I wrote the wrong problem, y'all. 621 minus 483. And I could start over again, but I want you to see that mistakes happen. That's going to be 8, 1, 5, and that's 11. So that's going to be 138. I wrote the wrong problem before. It's 138. Okay, next question. 678 minus 489. 678 minus 489. If you have 8, can you give away 9? The top is what you have. The bottom is what you want to take away. If you have 8, can you take away 9? If you don't know, hold up 8 fingers. Can you drop 9 of them? The answer to that is no. So you're going to have to regroup. The 7 that you borrow from or you group from becomes a 6. The 8 now becomes an 18. 18 minus 9. 18 minus 9 is 9. Now we're on 6 minus 8. If you have 6, can you give away 8? The answer to that is no. And that means you have to regroup. The 6 in the hundreds place becomes a 5. The 6 in the tens place becomes 16. Now 16 minus 8, that's 8. And 5 minus 4, can you do that? If you have 5, can you take away 4? The answer is yes. 5 minus 4 is 1. And then 189 is the answer to that. The math is important. I would like you to be able to keep up with me as I write and do the math. But more importantly, I need you to see when to borrow, when you have to borrow, and when you borrow, what happens to the numbers. We are not, as a group, remembering when to borrow. And when we remember to borrow, we're only doing parts of what needs to be done. I need you to see this happen over and over again. And so I'm hoping that while we do this, something will click for you to say, oh, that's how it's supposed to be. This is a subtraction problem. You check your sign. This is a subtraction problem. We start in the ones place. So if we don't start over here in the hundreds place, we start in the ones place. If we have 5, can we take away 7? The number on the top is what we have. The number on the bottom is what we want to give away. If we have 5, hold up 5 fingers, can you drop 7? The answer to that should be no. So we go over to the tens place and we regroup. The 2 in the tens place becomes a 1. The 5 in the ones place becomes 15. 15 minus 7 is 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. 15 minus 7 is 8. If you have 1, can you take away 4? The answer is no. You have to go to the hundreds place and regroup. That means the 7 that's in the hundreds place becomes a 6, and the 1 that's in the tens place becomes 11. Now, 11 minus 4 is 10, 9, 8, 7. 11 minus 4 is 7. And then 6 minus 3. If you have 6, can you take away 3? The answer is yes. 6 minus 3 is 5, 4, 3. 6 minus 3 is 3. Again, I'm doing a lot of the math, or probably most of the math. I would love it if you could keep up. That's super duper fantastic. But what I need you to do is see whether or not regrouping is necessary and see how it happens. We are missing something. Somehow we are forgetting what has to happen. Or we're not doing it all the way through. So watch this one because there's a 0 that we have to pay attention to. Okay? If we have 6, can we give away 7? The answer is no. So we have to come over to the next place and borrow. But there's a 0 there. Can we borrow from the 0? The answer is no. So we come over to the 8 and borrow from the 8. That means the 8 becomes a 7. And that means we take the 8, we come back over to the 0, and the 0 becomes 10. Now that this is 10, can we borrow from the 10? Yes. Now the 10 becomes 9, and the 6 becomes 16. And that is 16 minus 7 is 9. 9 minus 8. If you have 9, can you take away 8? The answer is yes. 9 minus 8 is 1. If you have 7, can you take away 4? If you have 7, can you take away 4? 7 minus 4 is, 7 minus 3. 7 minus 3 is 4. I was saying the answer rather than saying what I needed to say. 7 minus 3 equals 4. Okay, let's move on. The next one is going to be 736. You should be writing this with me, trying to keep up. And if you're not able to write and keep up with me, please, please, please be watching and listening and not be distracted. We have to figure this out. We have to figure this out. The top number is what we have. The bottom number is what we want to give away. If we have 6, can we take away 8? You should have said no. That means we come over to the tens place and regroup. The 3 becomes a 2. The 6 becomes 16. 16 minus 8 is 8. Now, if we have 2, can we take away 9? If we have 2, we cannot take away 9. That means we have to regroup or borrow. That means the 7 becomes a 6, and the 2 becomes a 12. 12 minus 9 is 3. If we have 6, can we take away 2? If we have 6, can we take away 2? The answer to that question is yes. So what is 6 take away 2? And the answer to that question is 4. The next one we have is 960 minus 579. 960 minus 579. What's on top is what we have. What's on bottom is what we want to give away. If we have 0, can we give away 9? No. The 6 becomes a 5. The 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 9 is 1. So now we're in the tens place. 5 minus 7. If we have 5, can we take away 7? If we have 5, can we take away 7? The answer is no. So we have to regroup or borrow. That means we come over to the 9. The 9 becomes 8. The 5 becomes 15. 15 minus 7 is 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. 15 minus 7 equals 8. Now, the next question, we have 8, we want to take away 5. We have 8, we want to take away 5. 8 minus 5 is 3. We should be checking 381. Let's move to the next one. Mr. Big earns $475 per week, and Mr. Little earns $187 less than Mr. Big. How much does Mr. Little earn? Mr. Big earns $475, and Mr. Little earns $187 less than Mr. Big. So if we were going to write a problem, it would look like this, guys, if we didn't know the numbers. Mr. Big minus 187 equals Mr. Little, okay? So whatever Mr. Big earns minus 187 is going to tell us what Mr. Little earns. Now they told us what Mr. Big earns, so that they told us Mr. Big earns $475. So instead of Mr. Big, I put the numbers. Minus 187, and that's going to give us what Mr. Little earns. So let's do that problem. 475 minus 187. What's on top is what we have. What's on bottom is what we want to give away. If we have 5, hold up 5 fingers, can we give away 7? The answer is no. We have to regroup. We go over to to the next place. The 7 becomes a 6. The 5, you come back over to the 5 and it becomes 15. 15 minus 7 is 8. Now we have 6 minus 8. If we have 6, can we take away 8? The answer is no. So we have to borrow. We come over to the hundreds place to the 4. The 4 becomes 3. The 6 becomes 16. 16 minus 8 is 8. Now we have 3 minus 1. If we have 3, can we take away 1? If we have 3, can we take away 1? The answer to that question is yes. And if we take 1 from 3, 3 minus 1 is 2. So Mr. Little should earn $288. Next, use subtraction by regrouping or borrowing to answer this question. Our problem is 927 minus 548. If you have this is a subtraction problem, check your sign to make sure what kind of problem it is. Is it subtraction or take away? If you have 7, can you take away 8? If you're not sure, hold up 7 fingers. Can you drop 8 of them? The answer to that question is no. And if that answer is no, then there are things you have to do. You have to come over to the 2 that's in the tens place. The 2 becomes a 1. The 7 becomes 17. 17 minus 9, 17 minus 8 equals 9. 17 minus 8 equals 9. Now we have 1, and we take away 4. If we have 1, hold up one finger, can we drop 4? The answer to that is no, so we go over to the 9. It's in the hundredths place. The 9 will become an 8. The 1 will become 11. 11 minus 4 is 10, 9, 8, 7. 11 minus 4 is 7. Now, if we have 8, can we take away 5? If we have 8, can we give away or take away 5? The answer to that question is yes, and then you go ahead and do it. 8 minus 5 is 3. 879 is the answer we're going to choose. Okay, the next one, 424 minus 179. Okay, it's a subtraction problem. If we have 4, can we give away 9? The answer to that is no. So we come over to the 2. The 2 becomes a 1. The 4 becomes 14. 14 minus 9, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. 14 minus 9 equals 5. If we have 1, can we give away or take away 7? If we have 1, can we take away 7? If you're not sure, hold up one finger. Can you drop 7 of them? The answer to that should be no. So we go to the 4. 4 becomes a 3. 1 becomes 11. 11 minus 7 is 4. Now we have 3 minus 1. If we have 3, can we take away 1? If we have 3, can we take away 1? The answer to that question is yes. 3 minus 1 equals 2. I'm going to stop right there, and you will be finding out where you're going to next or what you'll be working on next.